Everyone's chasing Nvidia. But Nvidia is quietly betting billions on a completely different game. A brand new NeoCloud market that could hit $1 trillion by 2034. Growing about 3 times faster than the S&P 500, and almost nobody on YouTube is talking about the 3 companies actually powering this. Coreweave, Nebius, and a former Bitcoin miner called Iron. Stay with me because one of these looks massively underpriced for what it's building. The first cloud boom was about renting servers for apps and websites. Amazon, Microsoft, and Google dominated that game. NeoCloud is the next layer on top, specialized infrastructure built only for heavy AI workloads, like training models such as ChatGPT, Claude, and every other serious large language model. Think of it as massive clusters of Nvidia GPUs, ultra-fast networking, and data centers optimized to squeeze every single bit of performance. Instead of trying to compete with Amazon or Microsoft on generic cloud, NeoCloud companies focus on one thing: being the best possible place to run AI. And that focus is why this market is projected to reach $1 trillion by 2034, with around 50% compound growth per year. Let's start with Coreweave, the company Nvidia literally wrote a multi-billion-dollar check to. Coreweave started as an Ethereum mining operation and pivoted into building AI-focused data centers. The numbers here are wild: over 250,000 GPUs across 41 data centers, a revenue backlog of around $55 billion, up more than 270% year over year, and quarterly revenue already in the $1.4 billion range. Most importantly, Nvidia invested about $2 billion directly into Coreweave. That's not just a partnership. That's Nvidia saying, "We want this company to exist. We need it to absorb GPU demand." If you want exposure to the AI infrastructure boom beyond Nvidia, Coreweave is basically Nvidia's leveraged side bet on NeoCloud. Next is Nebius, much less famous but growing even faster. Nebius provides AI-optimized cloud infrastructure across Europe and other regions. Their key stats include revenue growth of about 355% year over year and a massive $17.4 billion deal with Microsoft. Management is targeting around $7 to $9 billion in revenue by 2026. That's roughly a 13-fold increase from where they started. The strategy? Become the specialist that big players like Microsoft can plug into, instead of trying to replace them. So while everyone looks at Azure and OAZ, Nebius is quietly building the pipes underneath the AI boom and letting hyperscalers do the selling. The third player is the most interesting story: Iron. This company was originally focused on Bitcoin mining, but they realized there is way more money in selling compute for AI than in hoping Bitcoin's price goes parabolic. So they're aggressively pivoting their power capacity into AI infrastructure. Numbers to watch: around 2.9 gigawatts of power capacity. That's enormous headroom for future AI data centers, and a $9.7 billion contract with Microsoft for AI workloads. Here is why I like Iron as a speculative play. The market still partly thinks of it as a crypto miner, but the business model is quietly shifting to AI. You basically buying AI data center optionality at what still looks like a Bitcoin miner price. Of course, it's not free money. All 3 of these companies share some big risks: heavy dependence on Nvidia hardware, fierce competition from hyperscalers like Amazon and Google, and enormous capital needs because data centers are insanely expensive. If AI demand slows, or if hyperscalers decide to do everything in-house, these businesses could get squeezed hard. This is not YOLO your portfolio territory. This is high-risk, high-reward exposure to the picks and shovels of the AI gold rush. So, quick recap. NeoCloud is shaping up to be a $1 trillion AI infrastructure market that most retail investors have never even heard of. Coreweave gives you Nvidia's favorite side bet. Nebius is quietly writing Microsoft's checkbook, and Iron is the Bitcoin miner turned AI arms dealer. Which one would you dig into first for your watch list: Coreweave, Nebius, or Iron? Tell me in the comments. And remember, don't just chase the hype. Understand the infrastructure behind it. Thanks for watching.